entire life I was a goalie. And if you watch hockey, you know a lot of goalies get injured. They get stupid, silly injuries, pulled groins, you know, shoulders, whatever it is. And I never had an injury my whole hockey career. I was very lucky. So the fact that I had an injury now from a stupid prank on a golf course, it really pissed me off. And I was mad for a long time. And I went through 2 years of pain and suffering, and I couldn't get any help. I didn't want to tell anybody. I was working at the Ford plant out in Talbotville, which I hated. I couldn't stand the job to begin with, so it sucked even worse because I was in pain every single day of my life. And I decided I needed to do something different. So I started an airbrushing business. I wanted to stay in the game of hockey, and I started a business airbrushing goalie masks. So I put my business card at a sports store, and a doctor picked it up, and he called me. And he said, I need my son's mask painted, can you help me? I said, oh, I'm injured. I said, so it's going to take me a little bit longer to do it than you would probably like. I probably can't help you. And he said, well, hold on a sec here. What do you mean you're injured? I said, well, I've had chronic pain for 2 years, and I can't really do too much. I said, you know, I have to push myself to get through the day. And he said, well, I have a 2-year waiting list, but I'm going to get you in tomorrow. I said, wow. So I felt special. I went in to see him. And you got to picture this guy. So you remember the movie Back to the Future? You remember the scientist? I walked in, he had that look right down to the bow tie and the hair. And I thought, what have I got myself into? And as soon as he started talking, I knew there was something wrong, and I didn't know what it was, but we're taught all our lives to trust our teachers, our principals, our parents. All those figures that help us when we're in trouble, you learn to trust, and you've been told to trust. And I said to him, listen, I've been in pain for 2 years. I can't get any help. I can't live a normal life. I can't golf. I can't play hockey. I can't do anything. Help me, help me, help me. He said, I have a miracle drug for you. He says, it's going to fix you up. He says, it's for chronic pain, and it's going to change your life. So I said, okay. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. I hadn't grown up doing drugs. I didn't smoke dope. I was too busy playing high-level hockey. While all my friends were smoking pot and drinking beer, I was in hockey tournaments. So he says to me, here's some OxyContin. Go take it, and when you take it, you're going to feel better, and you're going to be able to get back to your normal life. And I thought, that's awesome. And I, to this day, will never forget that feeling I had when I took that first pill, and it was like a miracle. And I was so happy, and I was so relieved. And it brought me back to my old life where I could play hockey, I could play golf, I could do those things I wanted to do. But I didn't know it was stripping me of everything else. So not only was I not feeling physical pain, but I wasn't feeling emotional pain, I wasn't feeling mental pain, I wasn't feeling anything. And I wasn't the Kyle that I had grown up being all my life. I lost all my friends, I lost my family. I think I had the shortest marriage in history. It was only 16 months. And everything was gone. And I'll never again forget when I realized, and I hate saying this word, that I was a drug addict. And it wasn't by choice, and I still know that today, but I can't get away from the fact, I had to admit it. And it wasn't till I admitted it that I could go get the help I needed. But I was at my ex-wife's parents' house. We left on a Friday, and I forgot my pills. And come Sunday morning, I was so sick. I had never felt this sick in my entire life. I told her I thought I was dying. I said, we can't go to the wedding today. I said, you got to drive home. I can't drive. Please take me home. So we packed our stuff. She drove home. And we got back to the apartment, and I was sitting there in the chair, and I said, you know what? I'm sore. I said, I forgot my pills this weekend. Can you go grab me one? I can't get up. So she went and grabbed me a pill, and I took it, and 15 minutes later, my eyes popped open like saucers because I felt absolutely incredible. And I looked at my ex-wife and I said, I just went through massive drug withdrawal, and I said, I didn't even know it. I said, what am I going to do? I need help. I can't do this. I can't live like this. I called my dad the next day. We went to the doctor. And I said, listen, I'm addicted to these things. I need help. I need to get off them. And his exact words were, you're not addicted, you're dependent. To this day, I still can't figure out what the difference is, and I'll never know. and he upped my dose by 200 milligrams, and he doubled it, and said, go on your way, you're doing the right thing, it's worse for you to take Tylenol. So I said, awesome. Because now I didn't have to deal with any of my life problems. I didn't have to deal with my physical pain. I didn't have to deal with the emotional pain. Nothing. It was amazing. My dad patted me on the back and said, you're doing the right thing. And I just remembered the terrified feeling that I left that office, knowing that I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but I didn't want to deal with all the stuff I was dealing with, so I was just going to keep taking these pills. And it went on for about 4 more months. And I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but there's thousands and thousands of drug addicts out there that don't even realize they're an addict because their doctors have never told them to stop taking the pills. So I'll never, and again, when I had that feeling and that flu that I thought I had went away, I started to cry because I had never been exposed to drug addiction, alcohol addiction. I mean, I drank a lot, but it was only on weekends with the boys at hockey. I had never smoked dope. I wasn't into any of that stuff. So it was a real shock to me. And again, I was very angry because I trusted the doctor and I thought he was doing the right thing. I thought I was doing the right thing. And when he doubled my dose again, I thought I'm doing the right thing. I went on for about 4 more months, and I was at Ford working on the line. And it sounds funny now, I was literally drooling. And I was trying to do my job, and my job was to put 4 screws in a frickin' car, and I couldn't even do it. And the guy across from me came over, and we'd become pretty good friends, and he said, dude, you know what? He said, you're a great guy. He said, I love you to death. He said, but you need help. He said, you're an absolute train wreck. You're a mess. Go get help. And that second, I dropped the gun that I was using to put the screws in. And we had an office at Ford, and they had a drug rep there. And I went to him, and I said, you know what? I'm scared as hell. I don't know how to get over this. I don't know what to do. I said, but I need help, and I'm not going back to the line until I get it. And so he said, okay, go home. I went home, and it was 4 days before I had got into the hospital. And I remember laying on the couch in front of my mom, and I was pulling chunks of my hair out, and I was throwing it, and I was kicking, and I was throwing up, and I couldn't sit still. My mom was crying. She's like, he's gonna die, he's gonna die. So my dad ended up going to his family doctor and getting me a bottle of pills to get me through till I got in the hospital. So I went to the hospital, I ended up in there in the program, 10 days in a hospital bed going through withdrawal, and then I spent 28 days in the program after. And when I went in there, I was so angry, and I was bitter, and I was mad, and I was saying, why me, why me? And I thought I was better than everybody else in there. And the truth was, I wasn't any better. I was going through the exact same thing that these people were going through. Yeah, it wasn't my choice, but I had to come to terms with the fact that I was now a drug addict, and I was going to have to deal with it for the rest of my life, whether I liked it or not. Now, it's been 17 years since anything's happened, and it doesn't scare me anymore. But again, I was so terrified and so scared to be sick and go through that feeling. No human should ever have to feel that, and I'll never, ever, ever forget it. And the point of my story tonight is, guys, if you're scared, do it anyway. And if there's anything that I learned from that whole experience that I went through, it was that when I did the things that scared me, it brought me the best, amazing stories of my life. And everything I did after that going forward, if it scared me, I made sure I did it. So when Kevin brings up Awesomepreneurs, I mean, I worked at Ford for 10 years. When I heard that it was closing, and this is going to sound selfish, and I don't want it to, guys, that's not what I mean by it, but it was the happiest day of my life, because I knew I no longer had to be somewhere I didn't want to be every day. I couldn't stand going in there. I was having anxiety and panic attacks. I couldn't stand it. And there was more drugs in Ford than there was in a bloody pharmacy. There was guys selling 1,000 pills a week in there, and I just couldn't get away from it. And it was so awful. And when I found out that they were closing, I took the early buy of it. I left about a year and 4 months early. And then I got into sales, and I was in sales for a while. And then it just came to me again, Awesomepreneurs started. It was boring because one of the events in London had closed, and there was going to be no place for anybody to go. And I was terrified and I was scared, and I woke up the next day and I said, you know what, if I don't do this now, nobody else is going to do it, and we need something like this in London. And that's when Awesomepreneurs was born. So again, guys, if something scares you, just keep pushing through it and do that thing that scares you, and it's going to lead you to the happiest places of your life, and I couldn't be happier. Thanks, guys.